Yeah. Let's see if I can get some volume on this here. Welcome to the Tree Dynamite Show. As you know, we get it in over here. Have a special one for you today. And it is early in the morning. Yeah, typically I do things later. But I've been busy. I've been having things to do. Oh, yeah. So, over here we like to do a lot of narrative correction. And we like to get deep off into some things. And sometimes give it commentary. But I like to get straight into it. I don't like to BS around. Now, someone pointed me in the direction of a show, and it was, I had no idea that it was going to be a show. I thought it was going to be a movie. I said, hey, you should watch Best Man. I said, Best Man? Oh, they got another Best Man? Okay, cool. I think I'm going to check that out. Come to find out, it was the gift that keeps on giving because it was a series. I was like, it's a series. Wow, this is amazing. Okay, cool. Let me check it and see what this series is about. Well, I tune in and I'm watching it, and let me tell you something. This is one of the biggest horror stories, I mean, in the form of entertainment that I had seen in a while. I said, okay, let me sit back and watch it. I mean, because I saw the trailer. I was like, okay. They got Terrence Howard in there. Yeah, man. Yeah, I already know, man. I play the same character in every movie I'm in, man. I said, all right, so I'm sitting there and watching it. Now, look, this show was almost a reflection of different aspects of black society. Let me tell you, Sanaa Lathan, her character got on my damn nerves. Listen, I thought that this movie was going to be kind of like follow the theme of, the first one. But there was so much agenda in this show. There was so much agenda. Now, there was this point of contention that I am going to really tackle into. I'm going to really dive off into this one because I said, look, man, y'all are adding so much agenda. Look, this series, it was so agenda ridden. Like, I couldn't really enjoy it. There was a lot of, you could just see the propaganda. Now, I'm not going to play it, but there are certain audio clips that I've taken from this series that I want to tackle in on. Cause let me tell you something. This was more like a chick flick. It seemed like it was written by women or written by Ryan Coogler right before he wrote this last Black Panther. Or no, he directed it, but still, it was just full of agenda in this thing. Now, I want to zone in on this Harper character. Now, this Harper character was played by none other than Taye Diggs. Okay. Now, I'm not really like promoting this thing, so have y'all waste your time going to watch this mess, but it's just something that I feel was quite interesting. You can see entertainment is rife with propaganda. And one thing that I'm going to say, one group of people that I'm going to say seems to be very susceptible to propaganda, just so happens to be our women. Absolutely. Men too, but women more so. That's why the Home Shopping Network really is geared toward women because they're easier to sell to. All right. So I have found that there's a lot of this mess in this movie, in this show. Now, this first audio clip that I'm going to play, this Harper character, played by Taye Diggs, married to Sanaa Lathan. This man wrote a book. He did all these great things. He's a high value man, right? So now Lathan's character, she's starting to feel a little bit of herself. She wants to get out and express herself. She feels as though she's been living in the shadow of her husband. So she feels like she wants to get out there and express her true self, right? And when I saw this, it reminded me, I said, what am I looking at? Am I looking at Steph and Ayesha Curry? Because that moment in this show, it reminded me of that. It is the wife that feels like she hasn't been able to spread her wings, like she's in the cocoon or, of her husband, playing this wife role. Okay. Now, let me play this audio clip because this really bothered me. I said, who wrote this? Whose idea was it to put this in this doggone show? Okay, now here's the scene. Taye Diggs' character, he's in his room. He's getting off of a very important phone conversation. Here we go.
Got you. All right, peace. Hey, baby.
I can't do this anymore.
I know, you're right. I'm sorry. No more business calls at the dinner table, I promise.
No, not the phone. Not Stan. This.
What are you talking about?
I've given you decades. And you can't even give me a month. You're never gonna change.
Bam! Man, when I saw this, I said, okay, man, this is really disappointing me. Now, this is his wife. His wife has walked into the room. His wife walks into the room and she says, you're never going to change. I want to go to Ghana for a month in the middle of your promoting this book, because he wrote a book. It became a movie. Now, in the middle of his critical hour, she wants to go to Africa. Now, she's ready to divorce him because she wants to go to Africa. I've given you decades, and you can't even give me a month. Okay, so this is something that I have found actually is accurate. This actually does happen in real life. There was a lot of other stuff that was kind of like, but when I saw this, I said, this is a perfect reflection of modern society. Perfect reflection. There are a lot of women that are right in Sanaa Lathan's character. Sanaa Lathan notice how she names the time. She has been taking score. I've given you decades, you can't give me a month. Okay. I think that it's understood. I mean, I can understand the emotional side of it, but there is no time limit on duty. It's not, you don't start counting days. And one thing that I have found is that if she is in a wifely role, her husband has been building this empire, and the position that she's in now is because of the work that he put in. Now she wants him to stop that work and pay attention to her, to go to Ghana for a month because she has something going on. Now, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to say that. This is what I'm going to say. When you are in this type of relationship, that's going to happen. That's going to happen, and it's understood why she would feel that way if she feels like he's on his purpose and what she's interested in, he's not really interested in. So that when she wants to express herself in some other arena or whatever, he's so focused on what he's doing that she feels underappreciated. Okay. She feels like, whatever, a shell of who she really is. And now let me continue this clip so you can hear the rest of this as she's saying, I can't do this anymore. Man, because look, man, when I heard this, man, I said, okay, this was written by had to have been written by a woman. This has to be influenced by a woman because this is really from a real woman perspective. Like a lot of the arguments that I've heard. Now, hold up.
I've been hoping and demonstrating and being the best partner I know how to be. But it doesn't matter. You are you.
Absolutely. I've been the best partner. I've been the best partner, but it doesn't matter. You are you. And she has this look, this like disgusted look on her face as she's looking at her very successful husband. She says, oh, you are you. Let me tell you something. Of course he's him. That's why you are able to live the life you live, because of the discipline that he has. This is a disciplined man. He's disciplined and principled. But one thing that I found, like, I don't know if you guys read the Bible, but it seemed as though whenever there was a man that was strong, a woman would try to find his weakness. Look at Samson and Delilah. Look at Job and his wife. I mean, the thing is, once he gave her the secret to his weakness, she told the Philistines and then they captured him. So one thing I found is that when there is a man who can't be broken, who can't be derailed off of his path or purpose for anything, not even for a second, because you have some fantastic idea of starting some food thing, when he can't be derailed, she gets turned off and she's ready to leave the marriage. Now, but the interesting thing is that level of discipline that tends to attract women because, women really like consistency. I have noticed because consistency leads to the high probability of stability, which is, important for their, for them to feel, protected and, all those good, gushy things, right? But the moment that his principles get in the way of her fantasy, now she's ready to leave. And that's an interesting thing because the highest, I notice a lot of people say like the number one cause for divorce is money and finances, but that's not the highest cited cause. The highest cited cause. The highest cited cause for divorce is actually lack of compatibility. Someone feels like they just don't get along with them, like they've outgrown the marriage or whatever, and because 70 to 80% of divorce is actually women, and the educated women, it's 90% divorce rate. We know who is saying that they are no longer compatible to their relationships, right? So this is interesting. Because when I saw this, I said, this goes against everything that is a man's discipline. Who wrote this doggone movie? Who wrote this show? Now, it goes on further. So she wants to divorce the man. Okay, and then he says, okay, give her anything that she wants. Give her anything that she wants. And then he turns around and then says, because he buys this house and they're like, well, yeah, so after we sell the house, after you sell the house, what are you talking about? Come to find out, his wife, now almost ex-wife, plans on taking their child and moving to Ghana. Moving to Ghana, didn't even tell him. Just go take his baby and just move to Ghana. Destroy this little girl because, destroy her entire life because she has a dream. I said, this is so perfect. Now, this piece right here, this actually reflects a lot of the sentiment that's happening in Black society. I said, wow, this is quite interesting. So she's in this position to where she has a dream. I mean, look, she's pretty much, there's this guy who she's kind of palling around with. You know, whatever. Some little earthy guy, one of those guys who uses, I don't know, deodorant made out of sandpaper or some mess. One of them all natural, people, whatever, right? So now you can see the transition. She's starting to feel like, I'm too good for this doggone marriage. I should get out there and explore the world. Do you know why she's able to explore the world like that? Because of the work that her husband did to afford her the luxury to move around like she is. But now that she's moving around with this freedom, now she's starting to feel herself. I said, if this ain't Ayesha Curry, I don't know who this is. Now, after he finds out that she wants to take his child and move to Ghana, he's over there kicking it with his people, and she comes in kicking up a hissy fit, and here's that argument. So check this out.
UPS? You guys?
Where is he? Harper! Harper! Harper!
What's going on?
You filed for custody without talking to me?
Are we gonna do this right here?
Yes, I want to talk about it right now.
Okay, then yeah. I did what I thought I needed to do to keep my daughter close to me.
Robin, what's going on?
Tell him, Harper. Tell all your friends who mean so much to you how you've trapped me in a place I don't want to be because you can't get your way for once.
When am I supposed to see my daughter? Once? Twice a year?
I told you the door is open.
No, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. You shut that door the moment that you filed for divorce. And every little step you have taken since then has been selfish as fuck.
You wrote the book on selfish.
Okay.
You have consistently put yourself first in this marriage time and time again. You force everyone in your orbit to do and act like you see in your head. I am not a character in your book, Harper. I am not. Oh, okay, got it.
Bam. I said this right here is, if this ain't an uncooperative wife, this is the type of wife that is a wife out of spite. Like she really spites you. All those years she's counting everything. I said this is reminiscent of a relationship where these two people, they do not have the same values. This happens a lot, where you have a man who's conservative and a woman who is liberal, and they get together because and they're in the honeymoon phase. They get married. They wind up having, their lives are so opposite from one another. And they stop and wonder, like a year or two later, how did we ever even get married? We're so different. We always argue there's absolutely nothing that we have in common except for, probably a little bedroom play. This is actually reminiscent of that. When I saw this, I said, okay, this is one of those wives that she's not really on her husband's program. What she described was, you have us in your orbit. What does that sound like? That actually sounds like the ideal husband, the type of husband that a lot of women say that they want. A man who takes charge. If you're in his orbit, that means he hasn't abandoned you. Everything that he does has y'all revolving around it. Like y'all are part of his thing, right? But she spites that. Like, there's something in her where she's orbiting. Like, it's one of those submissive wife sort of things. It's like, say, baby, could you fix my bath water? And she'll do it or some mess. But she hates you. Like, she doesn't do it with a cheerful heart. It's like, okay, this is a pipe that's ready to burst. And that's something that I have found is becoming a lot more commonplace, especially with a lot of masculinized women that are out there, that a lot of guys are complaining about. and this sort of soft and feminine movement thing, let me tell you something. If you are disproportionately masculine, or if people have said that you're masculine or whatever, look, that's something that you can't get rid of. You can't get rid of it. It's there, okay? So the best thing, the only way to really combat that is to, well, there's a couple of things that you could do. Matter of fact, I'll just do a show on that. I'm not even going to get off into that. But the bottom line is, it's going to wind up coming out. Even if you try to suppress it, it's going to wind up coming out. And pretty much, I guess that somebody, you're just going to have to find somebody that could deal with that mess. But let me tell you something. What I have found is that there are a lot of women, especially, that are spiteful. Like, they'll do something, but they don't know how to really communicate their feelings to a guy. Right? Or they feel like they've tried to communicate him and he's not listening or whatever. So what they do is from that point on in their relationship, they're just counting the days till their exit, you know? And one thing, the main reason is because both of them have separate missions. You have strangers living in the same house. And if the man is the leader in the relationship, because listen, you can't have two leaders. You can't. Old man told me once, anything with two heads is a monster. Now, I guess, you shout out to any conjoined twins and all that mess. You get what I'm saying. You can't have two leaders. Somebody has to lead, somebody has to follow. And what I'm seeing a lot of the times is there are women that grow into a space in their mind or whatever where they feel incompatible to the man that they got with. And what did she say? You won't change. That actually should be a virtue. It's like you married a man in that state. So if he was good enough to marry, why isn't he good enough to stay that way till death do you part? Right? It's like, and what I'm talking about the character of the man. I'm not talking about, he don't want to change his drawers or something like that, because, don't nobody want nobody with crusty booty running around the house. I understand that. But certain things that made you marry him, that should be the reason that the marriage stays strong. Right? But what I found is that men marry women with hopes that she won't change, and women marry men with hopes that she can change him. This is the typical order that I have found, because women like change, men don't. A man will eat a pancake, the same thing every day, and she'll be like, "Why don't you want to try this? Why don't you?" What a lot of women don't understand is that routine makes a man happy. And routine, women like routine a lot of the times too for themselves, but not when it comes to a man. Not until they're old. When they get a little older and in their rhythm, she kind of likes routine because she feels like she's learned him. She can, she has him down to a rhythm. But a lot of women get bored, and especially the young ones. I'll say, I don't even 20s, 30s, even 40s get bored. I think people get a little bit more settled, especially around 60, But I'm seeing this and I'm saying, okay, this actually is reflective of a lot of situations here in America, especially in black society. So I'm wondering whether or not people are influenced by this or whether or not this is influenced by people. Because where did this spread my wings and fly sort of mentality come from? This I need to get out there and I need to just express myself. Now, check out what happens with the rest of this argument that they displayed on here. Because when listen, man, look, I wanted to pick up a spoon and throw it at the screen, but I said, you know what? Hold on. Look, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. I should probably just meet the person that wrote this and flick a booger in a damn cereal. I don't know. Man, look, this was. Just take a listen. Let me rewind it a few seconds. Take a listen to this exchange.
And act like you see in your head. I am not a character in your book, Harper. I am not.
You should be a character on the program.
All right, this isn't gonna
Candace,
solve
please, I need you to mind your own business.
Oh, no.
This is right here.
No, you can't talk to her like that.
I'm not talking to her.
Man, look at this simp dude. Not a little simpleton comes in there. The simpleton's wife jumped in a doggone business. And he checks him. He tells her, look, just mind your business. I'm talking to my wife. And her husband, you can't talk to her like that. First of all, he didn't disrespect her. Shut your little simp ass. Just shut up. Go somewhere. Anyway, look.
I'm trying to talk to my wife.
No, I'm done talking. Just let me go.
Then go! But Mia is staying.
Fuck you, Harper. You are a piece of
Fuck
shit.
you fake African Kunta Kinte.
Fuck
Go.
you fucking
Lean.
Uncle Tom, Clarence,
Lean.
Tom, that
Go.
stick out your
Go.
head. Fuck
Get
you.
out of my face.
Motherfucker.
I told you this would happen, right? I told you this would get ugly.
It's been ugly, Merch. I have run out of options.
You always have plenty of options. And you know what, Harp? Real talk. Every time you have the opportunity to choose yourself over doing the right thing, you always choose yourself. And yeah, I said it. And I meant it. I'm gonna go check on Candace. I guess I'll see you guys at the stadium.
Shut your bum ass up. No, that's not. Now, I said, who wrote this? Who wrote this part? Because when you follow the storyline, follow the trajectory, I said, wait a minute. This man, okay, in the early part, yes, the way that he was, that's kind of how he was. But this man started doing everything for his family, done built up this stuff. I said, wait a minute, hold on, bro. Why is his own homeboy starting to argue with him? I told you, you always choose yourself. Let me tell you something. First of all, that's not even how black men get down. Nope. Homeboys do not get down like this. I said, who wrote this? Who put this in this damn movie? Homeboys don't do that to one another. Not in black society. So, lady, whoever wrote this and added that in there, that's propaganda. Men will not do that unless they are probably away from everybody. Like, he won't do that in front of the man's wife or the man's wife right there. I said, okay, are y'all really trying to program people this deep? So there was a lot of propaganda. One thing that I saw in this mess, the Lance character, the alpha male, look how they brought him to heel. It's like, well, no, we ain't going to have the alpha male wear a dress. No, we can't get Morris Chestnut to wear a dress. So what we'll do is we'll turn his son into a queen. I said, goddamn. I said, okay. I said, okay, so since it's probably a little too much to turn Lance into a doggone Tu Wong Fu, we gonna have his son turn into a Wu-Tang Tu. I said, man, y'all done ruined the franchise. It's like, why is there always this agenda? It's like this need to push everything. Like, could you imagine, let's just say, somebody had psoriasis, all these skin and bumps all over the damn place. They had an issue, a skin issue. So they wanted to advocate so heavily for the Psoriasis Institute of America that they were in an executive position. So every movie that they touched the main character had like a patch, really like kind of, yeah, psoriasis skin right on in the middle of their face. Like, it just overboard. You know, started having, you know, things where babies were born right there. Psoriasis right there, smack dab in the middle of their face. You start looking at this and say, dang, man, why does every character that you do have to have, like, some sort of psoriasis, man? Like, why is this so important? And it'll be evident that it's an agenda then. But when we start looking at things like this, it's like, okay, this doesn't have anything to do with the storyline. This has nothing at all to do with it. This was forced in there. You know, the same thing that we saw in Black Panther. It's like, okay, there's agenda forced in here. It's like, what's up with these characters here? This has nothing to do with the storyline, the comic. Like, this is what we're seeing. And then in all this other crap, you know, Woman King, we already see the agenda and all that mess, right? Like this masculinized lady and kind of lady boys. You know, hey, I mean, look, I just call it like it is. Like, you have to look at a franchise, look at its inception, look at it from the beginning, and then look at how it drastically changes when you get to the second and third installment. Everything becomes political. And I saw it in this, and I said, man, who wrote this mess? Now, I need to ask a question, because I have to know this. Is there a time limit on duty? Is there a time limit on a man's, faithfulness to his wife? Right. Is there a time limit on a man's responsibility? I'm curious. I want to know whether or not, because now here's something very interesting. I heard a lady say she'll be feminine when she finds the right man to be feminine with. So she was saying, that, she's whatever. The only reason that you think that she's masculine is because you're not masculine enough. And she's waiting on the masculine men to come along, right? So this woman is, disproportionately masculine most of the time, and thinks that the right man is going to come along and then be able to conquer that masculinity, right? So even if she does get into her feminine, how long will that last? Is there a time limit on that? Is there a point in time that a woman should expect to switch things up? Where a man is so principled, he's so much on his purpose that he's not really actualizing. He's not listening to your dreams, to what it is that you always dreamed of doing. The problem is the role of wife is a helpmeet. That's probably one of the reasons that I would say, hey, listen, you might not want to get into that role of wife to a man, because men still expect the same thing. It's like, most men, they expect wife to be the exact same thing that their grandmothers and great grandmothers and great great grandmothers were. This new thing, the funny thing is, a lot of women expect men to be the same thing that their grandfathers were, but they don't expect for the men to require them to be like their great grandmothers. It's like, wait a minute, no. I'm not just gonna float around in your orbit. No. Oh, you got your thing, I got my thing, and we could live two separate lives in the same household, and then eventually I'm going to want a month. I'm gonna want you to take off a month, just abruptly, just take this month off and come with me so I could actualize my dream out there in another country, rather than be part of what it is that you're doing and find something, an important role that I can fulfill in that thing, I'm going to support you in word, but deep in my heart I'm going to resent it because I'm not fulfilling myself, my need. That is not wifey mindset. That's not wifey material. But unfortunately, a lot of women do find themselves in that position because wifey is a supporting role. It's a supporting role that essentially it really shines when you're young, like when both of y'all are young and you both have the same goal, and her goal is his goal. They both have the same thing. You know, think of Bill Cosby and Camille Cosby. Camille Cosby had a PhD. She has a PhD. Bill Cosby doesn't. He didn't even finish. He didn't even finish high school, right? I think he got a GED, and then he went to college for a little bit, but he didn't finish. But his wife has a PhD, and guess what? She was his manager. She was in the supporting role to her husband. All of that education, she was her husband's support. But today, there's a lot of women who think that they're educated, you know, like somehow that, you know, puts them in some elevated position. It's like women have been educated for a long time, but they still supported their husbands. And they are so well off now, you know, she never has to worry about anything because she supported her husband. But you see, today there's a lot of people in these relationships where a woman wants autonomy. She wants complete and utter autonomy from a union. Like, wait a minute, uni means one. Like, together, this is supposed to be a thing. We're supposed to head in the same direction. And both of us are split. Like, she can't be doing this and him doing this. And she, you know, so what I have found is that a lot of time, a woman who has ideas and a purpose that she wants to be on, she is turned off or kind of, she avoids like men who are on their purpose, because she understands that in order to stick with that guy, she's going to have to give that up. So what tends to happen is she becomes attracted to men that have nothing going on for themselves. They are not a threat. That's why she'll date down. Because the men down there, they don't really pose a threat to her actualizing her dream. But then she grows resentful of him because he's a bum. He's not doing anything. Like, her nature starts kicking in, and then she said, dang, I really do want a winner. You know, like, if I don't have to do this, I don't want to have to do this. Right? The problem is when you have a man that provides you with the lifestyle to where you don't have to do anything, that means work. You don't have to work, but you do have to cooperate. You see, there are still requirements for a man to provide that level for you. I mean, do you understand? Like, that's how hard it is for families out here, and for a man to have you only take care of the kids. That's it. Taking care of kids ain't that doggone hard. After with early babies, hell yeah. But after that, if your children are disciplined, there's a lot of people, they just let their kids run haywire. Their kids be up all wee hours of the night, no discipline whatsoever, and then they want to complain about parenthood. It's like, no, that's you. You're a lazy ass parent. Look, my children was so quiet. People didn't know I had children. They're like, you have kids? I was like, yep. But I like my house quiet. When it's playtime, they go outside, they make all that damn noise, they do what they want. But in this house, no, because I am the man of the house. You see? And when you have a man, oh, guess what? A man of the house to provide that luxury to you, there are things you do have to do because you don't have to do anything else. You have to cooperate, simple. And that's it. But this right here was a perfect example of the rebellion. What does this person here say? Black cherubim. Someone in black or white LGBT wrote this for the sisters. Absolutely. As soon as I saw it, I said, a woman wrote this. Damn, this is, and I wouldn't put it past, who's that lady from Insecure? I wouldn't put it past her writing this stuff. I'm not going to say that she did, but I'm just saying that this sort of propaganda, this sort of stuff is what I'm seeing in a lot of black women writing this stuff. But here's another trick bag. Sometimes you'll have those of the Caucasian persuasion that will write something that they think will resonate in black society because they listen. They'll listen very intently. Like, a lot of people don't know that Good Times, that was not a black produced show. That came out of the mind of a white man, right? Good Times. Norman Lear, one of his, brain, that was his brain job. So there are those instances where there will be some attempts to mimic, there will be some caricature of actual black society, but whoever wrote it, there's a lot of agenda in it, a whole lot of agenda, and it's to a point where, like, we can't even have an unapologetically man moment. An unapologetic man moment. What are you talking about, unapologetic man moment? An unapologetic man moment is when you have guys that are solid, productive men in society, reminiscent of some of our predecessors. The strong man that had purpose, right? No, you got to give one of them a third nipple or something like that. Like, you got to screw it up some sort of way. You got all these men, all these strong men, and all of them are, the example. Yes, this the type of black example that we want for these young men, these young black men, because they need to see more positive black representation. So you'll have a movie with all professional black brothers. But they wearing lipstick. And it's like, hold on, man. See, this some bull. How come there just can't be an unapologetic? Why you got to include everything in this mess? Please, can we have it one unapologetic? Right? So then when you get if the movie is too alpha, right? If it's too alpha, well, then you'll get people that come that'll find a tweet from back when Moses was a baby. They'll find a tweet in order to try to derail your movie, like we've seen with certain people. Came out with a movie that was quite, ruffled a lot of feathers even before it came out. And they tried to destroy the brother before the movie came out. So we've seen that, where anything that's too masculine, especially if it's black masculine. Come on now. You see that big gigantic tar baby coming across the screen. You won't grab your wife. You be like, I know that's what she want. Or something like, I don't know what the insecure is. I don't know what insecurity is going on in their minds. For them to want to just attack everything that's black alpha. I could only imagine. I mean, it has to be something that keeps you up at night, right? It's like everything, Power, right? 50 Cent, right? So we have, Power was a very masculine series. It was. But then, hey, I get 50 Cent. He had to pay the bills. Like, look, 50. Yeah, this is man. We want to carry you for another season. Numbers were good. Last quarter, you exceeded our expectations. But we only have a couple of slots. You're doing good, but I'm not sure. Listen, take it from me. If you really want to last in this business, you're going to have to be more inclusive. You got to expand your audience. There are certain numbers that we're really trying to tackle into. Because listen, so with the black audience, we've been able to, get this. But look, we want to be able to reach out to other audiences here, okay? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to pierce your nipple with macaroni, okay? Just hear me out, 50. Just hear me out. We're going to pierce it with macaroni, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to have you wear like a see-through shirt, right? Because look, man, Hamburger Helper, do you know how much that they're giving us? Like, come on, man. Just pierce your nipple with some, it's like, they start adding a bunch of foolishness in something that you should have never messed with. So now you want to start being more inclusive, I guess, because when people have the money to give you, people with money, they like to see statues erected in their name, right? Such and such donated to the library. Let's put a statue of such and such in front of the library, right? I heard heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder. Well, he was heavyweight champion. Tyson Fury whooped his ass, but Deontay Wilder, he has a statue in right there in Alabama. Where is he? Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They put up a statue of him. That's something that I have noticed, especially people that have influence and money. They like to see statues erected of themselves. And a statue essentially is a representation of their being. A bust will have like their inscription of their ideas, their philosophies. And that's exactly what happens. It's the same thing that happens when there are those that have money to finance projects. They like to see their image in the project. And one thing I have found is that when things are on media, social media, it makes it appear bigger than it actually is. It makes it appear like it's everywhere. Everybody, hey. Oh, it's, don't worry about it, kids. Come on. It's everywhere. And this is how agenda is promulgated. All right? And now you can't even have a doggone regular man moment anymore. Just regular. The guys.
No, it's too toxic because... No, we can't have that.
Now, let me tell you something. All that I'm going to say is this. And because I'm about to close out. I had a long night. Guess what? I haven't been asleep. I'm about to pass out right now. What I'm going to say is this. I posted a quite silly video about Barney the dinosaur. I did some ad libs to it. But I did that on purpose. Because it was essentially, hey, listen, man, you have to watch what your children are influenced by. All of this stuff. Even yourself, there's propaganda everywhere. They showed The Color Purple and every woman thought that men were just beating ass like that. Men weren't doing that type of stuff. Not like that. And now whenever I hear people talking about narratives of like, it's this sort of freedom from black men somehow. They need freedom from black men. So you really think that that's what black men were doing? Just running around whooping ass and oppressing black women? That's what you think? Like, you've been watching too many movies. And when things like this come out, let me tell you something. This is a narrative. Look, ladies, look, women are some of the most impressionable. I'm telling you, that's why churches are filled with them. I'm telling you. And this ain't me talking about like scripture. This would be talking about where men pick up on a pastor that's full of it. A man will read that a lot faster than women do. All right, women can read it sometimes, but that's typically when they ain't going to that church. But something happens, like when they're in it, they get brainwashed, like they get hypnotized or something. But we see the agenda in a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of agenda in these girl-centric movies. These, because that's how you actually get into the community. You creep in through the women. Men are the protectors. Typically, men are the protectors. Come on, men. Let's be honest. How we would get. I don't know if y'all had girlfriends back when y'all were teenagers, but I did. I had one who used to sneak me in the house. Right? Now, her father wouldn't have stuck me in that house. But typically the way in is through the women and through the young. Right? Through the youth and through the ladies. That is how it is done, because the ladies will teach the children. Right? And then the children grow up to think that way. Right? And the men appear to be on the outside, pleading, trying to reason with a lot of the women in the community, and it is a battle, because there are some strong narratives out there. Strong narratives. Heard this one girl talk about, hey, she don't have to do anything for a man, because her grandma served her grandpa, and she saw how she served her grandpa, so she feels like her grandma suffered, so she ain't got to do nothing. I said, what type of logic is this? Where are they getting this from? This young black girl, because she looked like she was very young. This young black girl ain't had a struggle a day in her life. She wouldn't even understand the mindset of her grandmother, but she wants to use her grandma's story as the reason why she ain't gotta do nothing, why she just gonna be lazy. I said, man, there are narratives that abound, that are there to influence all of us, really, but especially in women's circles and in women-centric entertainment. Something to think about, something to look into, whether it's a reflection or whether it is actual agenda. I don't know. But in the meantime, guys, I hope that everyone has a productive day, productive evening, productive week. What I'm going to do is carry myself to bed. This was a nightmare, I have to say. This show, The Best Man. This was the best mess. You put it that way. Well, guys, take all this with a grain of salt. Not my words, but all of this entertainment crap. Take it with a grain of salt. Right? The only way to combat that is to have a foundation already. Know your narrative. Protect your narrative. Because only you can control your narrative. And remember, you should never, ever let anyone control your narrative. What I'm going to start doing, guys, is every other day. So my next airing is going to be Friday. Same time. Oh, yeah. peace. If I can get my mouse to work, then I can click on the thing. My mouse ain't working right. God damn. Come on, mouse, work. Damn, man.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough